You're scrolling through Amazon right now, aren't you? Maybe you've got 3 tabs open comparing prices, reading reviews that all sound suspiciously similar, written by accounts created last week with exactly 5 stars. That little voice in your head keeps saying, just pick the cheapest 75-inch and be done with it. You've been researching for days and your old TV is barely hanging on. But what if I told you that decision could haunt you for the next 5 years? What if that TV you're about to click buy on is designed to fail right after the warranty expires? I've spent 12 years inside this industry, working directly with manufacturers and repair technicians who've shown me things that would make your blood boil. I'm about to expose something the manufacturers desperately don't want you to know. There are 8 TV brands out there right now that are actively sabotaging your viewing experience through planned obsolescence and outright fraud, and chances are, one of them is sitting in your cart right now. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which brands to avoid, why they're doing this, and what you should actually buy instead. Some of these revelations are going to make you angry, especially if you already own one. Let's start with the worst offender. Number 8 on our scandal list is On, and if you've never heard of this brand, congratulations, your instincts are serving you well. On is Walmart's house brand, and here's the dirty secret nobody at Walmart wants you to discover. They don't actually make anything themselves. They contract with the absolute lowest bidder in China, slap their logo on whatever arrives, and pray it survives the journey to your living room. I had a customer once who bought an On TV on Black Friday, so excited about saving $400. 3 months later, when half the screen started flickering like a haunted house attraction. When he tried to get support, Walmart told him to contact the manufacturer. The manufacturer told him to contact Walmart. He ended up with a glorified paperweight and zero recourse. But here's what really makes this scandalous. On TVs are specifically designed to look good in the first 30 days. They pump up the brightness and saturation in factory settings so the picture looks vibrant when you first unbox it. Then, after a few weeks, as the cheap components start degrading, everything gets dimmer and more washed out. It's like dating someone who's charming for a month, then reveals their true personality. The panel quality is so inconsistent that you could buy 2 identical models and get completely different experiences. One might last a year, the other might die in 6 months. It's electronic Russian roulette. Number 7 is Element. And this one hurts because people genuinely think they're getting a deal. Element has been around long enough that your brain registers the name as legitimate, as trustworthy. But modern Element TVs are manufactured by a company that changes hands more often than a hot potato, pass between investment firms looking for quick profits. The current owners license the name from the original company and produce TVs with components that wouldn't pass quality control at any reputable manufacturer. I tested an Element 55-inch last year for a detailed comparison video. The color accuracy was so horrifically bad that skin tones looked like everyone had jaundice. Blues shifted to purple. Reds looked bright orange. It was like watching television through a dirty windshield. But the real scandal? Their smart TV software is essentially malware dressed up as convenience. The operating system is slow, crashes constantly, and serves you more ads than content. I counted once. It took 14 button presses and 2 full minutes just to get from turning on the TV to actually watching Netflix. 14. My grandmother called me crying once because her Element TV kept showing her ads she couldn't close, and she thought she'd been hacked. She hadn't been hacked. That's just how Element TVs work. They're ad delivery systems that occasionally show television. Number 6 brings us to Westinghouse, and this is a masterclass in brand name exploitation. The original Westinghouse was an American institution. They built nuclear reactors, for crying out loud. But the Westinghouse selling TVs today? Completely different company. They bought the rights to use that trusted name and are using it to move absolute bottom-tier electronics. It's like if someone bought the Rolls-Royce name and started making golf carts. Here's the scandal within the scandal. Westinghouse TVs are often manufactured in the exact same factories as brands like ON and Element, using the exact same components, but they charge 20 to 30% more because of the name recognition. You're literally paying extra for a logo. I've opened up Westinghouse panels and found components with other brand names still printed on them because they couldn't even be bothered to rebrand the internal parts. A friend of mine bought a Westinghouse 4K TV thinking he was getting that old-school American quality. 6 months in, the Wi-Fi stopped working entirely. Not spotty connection, just dead. When he called support, they told him Wi-Fi dongles sometimes fail and he could buy an external one for $40. The TV was less than a year old and they wanted him to buy additional hardware to make it work, as advertised. That's not a bug. That's the business model. Now we hit number 5, and this one's controversial because some of you own this brand and love it. I'm talking about Vizio. And yes, they used to be great. Back in 2010 through 2015, Vizio was the smart buyer's choice. Solid picture quality, reasonable prices, no nonsense. But something changed around 2018. They got greedy. Modern Vizio TVs are plagued with firmware issues that seem almost intentional. The SmartCast platform crashes constantly. HDMI ports mysteriously stop working. TVs randomly reboot themselves during shows. And here's the kicker. These aren't isolated incidents. Consumer Reports dropped Vizio from their recommended list in 2025, specifically citing reliability concerns. About 1 in 5 Vizio TVs develops a major issue within 5 years. 1 in 5. But Vizio's real scandal is more insidious. Their business model has shifted from selling you a TV to selling your viewing data. Every show you watch, every app you open, every button you press gets tracked, packaged, and sold to advertisers. You think you bought a TV, but actually, you're the product. I ran a network analysis on a Vizio TV once, and in just 1 hour of casual viewing, it made over 300 data transmissions to external servers. 300. Your TV is spying on you more aggressively than some government agencies. Number 4 is where things get really ugly because this brand actively lies in their marketing. I'm talking about Hisense, and before the fanboys attack me, yes, some Hisense models are decent. But the brand as a whole is built on a foundation of deception. Hisense loves to advertise quantum dot technology, full array local dimming, all these premium features at budget prices. Sounds amazing, right? Except when you dig into the actual implementation, it's smoke and mirrors. Their quantum dot panels use the cheapest possible quantum dot film that degrades rapidly. Their full-array local dimming has so few zones that it barely makes a difference. It's like advertising a car with leather seats when it's actually vinyl with a leather scent spray. The real scandal broke last year when a tech teardown channel discovered that Hisense was using completely different panel suppliers for the same model number. You could order a Hisense U8N from Amazon and get a panel from manufacturer A. Your friend could order the exact same model from Best Buy and get a panel from manufacturer B with noticeably worse performance. Same price, same model number, completely different quality. It's a lottery where you don't know if you've won or lost until you've already opened the box. Customer service is virtually non-existent. I watched a guy spend 4 hours on hold trying to get support for a dead pixel issue, only to be told that 15 dead pixels is within acceptable parameters. 15. That's not acceptable. That's insulting. Number 3 might shock you, because this brand spends millions on marketing to convince you they're premium. Samsung's budget lines, specifically the CU and AU series, are some of the biggest scams in consumer electronics. Samsung knows you trust their name from their flagship phones and high-end TVs, and they're exploiting that trust to move garbage. These budget Samsung TVs use the absolute cheapest panels Samsung can source, panels that wouldn't be acceptable in their mid-range models, but they slap that Samsung logo on the front and charge a premium over comparable competitors. The picture quality is atrocious. Washed out colors, terrible viewing angles, black levels that look gray. But Samsung's real crime is the bait and switch in their smart TV interface. Tizen OS is actually pretty good on their expensive models, but on the budget ones, it's deliberately crippled. Slower processor, less memory, constant buffering. They want you to have such a bad experience that you upgrade to a more expensive Samsung. It's planned frustration. And the ads. Oh, the ads. You spend $600 on a TV, and Samsung still bombards you with unskippable advertisements on the home screen. I timed it once. From turning on the TV to actually starting to watch content took 90 seconds because of forced ads and slow menu loading. 90 seconds. Every single time. But here's what really makes me furious. Samsung knows about the quality control issues on these models. They know the panels fail at higher rates. They know the smart features are subpar. And they keep making them because people see Samsung and think quality, even when quality isn't there. Number 2 is a brand that makes me genuinely sad because they used to stand for something. TCL's absolute lowest tier models, anything below their 5 series, are borderline criminal. TCL makes some genuinely excellent mid-range and high-end TVs. Their 6 series is fantastic. But their bottom-tier stuff? It's like they're trying to see how bad they can make a TV before people stop buying it. These ultra-budget TCL models have backlighting so poor that dark scenes look like you're watching through fog. The motion handling is so bad that sports look like a slideshow, and the build quality feels like they constructed it from recycled takeout containers. I've seen TCL budget models where the panel literally separated from the frame within 6 months, just hanging there, held in place by a few stressed plastic clips. But the real scandal is the software lockdown. TCL's cheapest TVs come with Roku or Google TV, which sounds fine until you realize TCL has customized these platforms to be as restrictive as possible. You can't disable certain features. You can't opt out of data collection. You can't even adjust basic picture settings without diving into menus that seem designed to confuse. They've taken open platforms and turned them into walled gardens of frustration, and when these cheap TCL panels inevitably fail, good luck getting support. TCL's warranty service is notorious for denying claims on technicalities. Screen cracked during shipping? That's physical damage, not covered. Backlight died after 8 months? Must be user error, not covered. Dead pixels spreading across the panel? Within acceptable parameters, not covered. They make it nearly impossible to actually use the warranty you paid for. But now we arrive at number 1, the absolute worst offender, the brand that represents everything wrong with modern consumer electronics. The biggest scandal of 2025 belongs to a brand you probably haven't even heard of, and that's exactly how they want it. Scepter TVs are sold primarily online and in discount retailers, flying under the radar while destroying the viewing experience of millions of unsuspecting buyers who thought they were getting a bargain. Scepter's entire business model is built on a foundation of lies and deception. They advertise massive screens at impossibly low prices, and people think they're getting the deal of a lifetime. What they're actually getting is a panel so cheap, so poorly manufactured, that it's basically electronic waste with a power cord attached. I tested a Scepter 65-inch that cost $300, and what I found was shocking even for budget TVs. The panel had such severe uniformity issues that half the screen was noticeably brighter than the other half, creating this bizarre split-screen effect that made watching anything unbearable. Colors shifted depending on viewing angle so dramatically that moving your head 6 inches looked like watching a chameleon change colors in real time. The motion blur was so catastrophically bad that I literally got motion sickness watching people walk across the screen during a simple sitcom. But Scepter's true scandal runs even darker than poor quality. They use a practice industry insiders call component substitution, where they'll build the first production run of a model with semi-decent parts to get good initial reviews from tech sites, then quietly swap to cheaper, inferior components for all subsequent runs. Same model number, same packaging, completely different internal quality. It's systematic fraud dressed up as manufacturing optimization. And it's perfectly legal because consumers have no way to verify which production run they're getting. The firmware is deliberately designed to degrade over time through software updates. I'm not speculating here. I've worked with programmers who've examined the code. Scepter TVs have built-in timers that gradually reduce panel brightness and processing power over 18 to 24 months. Your TV literally gets worse on purpose, by design, to encourage you to throw it away and buy a new one. It's planned obsolescence in its purest, most cynical form. And their customer service is beyond a joke. Actually, calling it a joke would be insulting to actual jokes. It's a black hole where complaints go to die, never to be heard from again. I've personally documented cases where people couldn't even find a working phone number for support. The website lists an email address that bounces back as undeliverable. The chat support is a bot programmed to give nonsensical responses that never actually help. Scepter sells you a TV, takes your money, then vanishes like a ghost in the night, leaving you stuck with a terrible product and absolutely zero recourse when it inevitably breaks. So, what do you do with this information? First, avoid these 8 brands entirely. I don't care how good the deal looks. I don't care if it's on sale. These manufacturers have proven through their actions and their utter contempt for customer service that they don't respect you as a customer. You're just a transaction to them. Second, if you want actual value without the scandal, stick with proven performers. LG's mid-range OLEDs offer incredible quality without destroying your budget. Sony's X85 series and up delivers reliable performance. Even TCL's 5 series and above represents solid value. The key is doing your homework before you buy. Don't trust marketing copy. Don't trust the first 3 reviews on Amazon, because those are usually planted. Look for long-term user experiences from real people. And please don't fall for the biggest screen at the lowest price trap. That's exactly how they get you. A smaller quality TV will make you happier every single day than a massive, terrible one. Think about it this way. You're going to spend thousands of hours looking at this screen. Thousands of hours watching movies with family, gaming with friends, keeping up with your shows. Isn't it worth spending a few $100 extra to ensure those hours aren't filled with frustration and buyer's remorse? These 8 brands are counting on you to make impulse decisions, to prioritize price over quality, to fall for their tricks. Don't give them the satisfaction. You deserve better than planned obsolescence designed in boardrooms. You deserve better than corporate exploitation. You deserve a TV that works, that lasts, that doesn't treat you like a captive audience for advertising. So the next time you're shopping and you see one of these brands offering a deal that seems too good to be true, remember what I've told you today. Remember the firmware degradation, the component substitution, the data harvesting. Remember that behind that shiny box is a company that sees you as a mark, not a customer. And choose better. Your future self will thank you.